Just how much modification can you do to your PlayStation 5 controller, and how well does it work? Today we're going to review a heavily modified ExtremeRate controller. Now this has most of the modifications that you can buy for your ExtremeRate controller, and I want to talk about each one individually. Now this particular controller we have just given away. I'm about to pack it up and ship it to our lucky winner. But before I do, I wanted to take one last time to talk about the controller, the features of it, and an impression of all of those features. So let's start at the top. The first thing you'll notice is that I have removable thumbsticks on here. These are easy to install, but you have to get quite deep into the controller to do it. The thing that's nice about it is it comes with this little case, which includes multiple controller caps of different size and different height. Here we've got tall ones that are domed and mushroomed. So for those players who prefer a mushroom top, they're there. You've got some low profile mushroom tops, and you've got some low profile concave tops. That allows you to have basically what you're used to with two of the same height thumbsticks with a really cool chrome bottom piece, for lack of a better term. Before we get too far into this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below. If you've seen some of our content already and have not subscribed, we want you to join our community. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's get back to the video. Personally, I like to have the taller thumbstick on my right hand because that's the hand that you use for aiming. The left thumbstick, really, you're just running around, and nobody needs like a very incremental movement stick. So like most time you're just running forward, running backwards, going left and right and whatever. But when you're aiming, having this bigger stick gives you a wider swing so that you can have more positional accuracy when you're trying to fine tune your movements. It allows you to bump up your sensitivity quite high so that you can move quicker, so you can actually compete with these mouse and keyboard players a little bit. This is a neat upgrade. It's not very expensive to do. However, you do have to dig the controller apart quite a ways in order to install it. Once it's installed though, swapping the thumbsticks is very, very easy. I would recommend this modification, and I would rank it a solid 9 out of 10 for value, but I would rank it a solid 10 out of 10 for difficulty of install, simply because you have to take quite a bit of the controller apart to do that. The next thing we have are clicky face triggers. So this replaces both of the triggers and your L1 and your R1 buttons with clicky buttons. So these are short throw buttons. This removes the adaptive triggers on your PlayStation 5. So if you play more of like the experiential games where you want to have that adjustable resistance and everything, this is not the mod for you. However, if you play competitive games, having these short throw triggers will dramatically increase your time to aim and your time to shoot, because it stops so early. When you're shooting at your opponent, you will stop quicker, so you know to release quicker and then pull quicker. So you'll actually get more shots off in a short amount of time. And you can actually rapid fire this pretty quickly. Now, a lot of people are good at not pulling the trigger quite as far with a proper trigger, but I've never been able to do that. I always pull till it stops. So this really improved my game, so much so that when I started using it, a lot of people would say that I was hacking. I would get accused of hacking the most when I installed these triggers, because I was able to fire off, especially single fire guns in like Warzone or Cold War or whatever Call of Duty game you're playing, and you can just get that time to kill so much faster. And then your aim down sight time it's not really affected, because normally you're pulling and holding anyway, but it's just for symmetry reasons. Now again, the install of these is a very solid 10 out of 10. You are going all the way into the controller. You have to dismantle the trigger mechanism and install these buttons. It's easy if you do it slow. However, it is very involved, and there are lots of opportunities to screw that up. 10 out of 10 for difficulty, but I definitely recommend it. Solid 10 out of 10 for a recommendation if you're modifying your controller. Clicky triggers are where it's at. Also, side note, I do have a SCUFF controller, And my SCUFF controller did not have the Clicky Triggers because it wasn't available when I ordered it. I have torn that SCUFF controller down. I've done a video about it, but I can confirm that you can install the Clicky Trigger kit from ExtremeRate on your SCUFF controller. It will work, and it will work great. It might save you a little bit of money if you can't find like the FPS controller today. You can get one of the lower models that do not have the Clicky Triggers and then swap in these Clicky Triggers. Now there's two other mods I want to talk about. Number one is the Clicky face buttons. So you can get a Clicky face button mod for these controllers. I have personally installed them and then I uninstalled them. I found that they were not as good as the standard buttons, and in fact, the PlayStation 5 buttons are pretty clicky anyway. The throw on them didn't change a whole lot. It added a little bit of click, but not enough to matter, and it wasn't enough to be worthwhile for the modification. So Clicky face buttons, I'm gonna give a 2 out of 10 for how badly you need them. And I'm gonna give them also a 9 out of 10 for the install, because you have to tear the controller apart the most in order to install them, and they give you the least benefit. So it was a little bit disappointing, but don't waste your time with the Clicky face buttons. And the final piece that all of you have been wondering about, the 4-button Rise4 Remap kit. What are my thoughts about this? Let me walk you through it. You have 4 total buttons here, and they're all reprogrammable through this center button right here. Programming is easy. The installation is pretty involved. The installation of this is a good 9 out of 10. You do go very deep into the controller again, and you do have to plug in different ribbon cables and all of that, and it makes it very, very difficult to do the install, and you can screw it up. You totally can screw it up. How does the Rise4 stack up though? So you've got the buttons here that the Rise 2 kit always had, and then they added these buttons. Personally, because of the way that I grip my controller, I actually find it easier to push these middle buttons than these buttons. This one right here, I have a hard time getting just because of my grip. And I've never really grappled with that. These wings are too short. And ExtremeRate, if you're watching this video, the wings are too short. Bring them down the side a little bit more so that I can get my hands down here on it, because the grip on the controller ends up just a little bit too light for me to hold it like this. However, I find that I can get this finger onto this button right here quite easily, and I enjoy using those buttons a little bit more than the wings. Having the 4 buttons is nice. The wings should be a little bit longer, but as far as options like getting back buttons onto your controller, well, I mean, this is about as good as it gets for the price that you gotta pay. This controller was about $150 US all in. That includes buying the controller, it includes buying the Rise4 Remap, it includes buying the faces, and it includes buying the Clicky Triggers. The installation, obviously, I did myself, which is technically free. But $150 versus $250 for a SCUFF controller. I know you can get Battle Beaver, you can get AIM. They're all still kind of up there in price, simply because you got to pay the guy's labor. If you're willing to do the work yourself, this is definitely a viable option to make a very tricked out controller. Now, the winner of this controller is going to be very happy. I did a play test last night just to make sure everything's working okay, and it's working flawless. It will be shipped out. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, don't forget we probably will be doing other giveaways. It might not be another controller, it might be something else. So you might want to consider subscribing so that the next giveaway you won't miss it. Hey, thanks for watching all the way to the end of this video. We hope you enjoy the content in this video, and we'd love to have you come back. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And for those subscribers who are looking for that extra special thing that you can do to support this channel, consider joining our members group. That's where we're building this community, the Gears and Tech community, where we can all enjoy content together. You'll get special perks, which we'd love for you to check out by clicking the link down below. For those of you who are just happy to watch the video, that's okay too. You can check out some of our other content right over here, where we've got some previous videos that have already been uploaded and enjoyed by many of our viewers already. We do hope to see you again. This has been Gears and Tech. Have a great day.